Right, Darren, what do you think is your best and worst games for Cheltenham, and why?
I'd probably say best, or the game that I felt that I was probably at my best was Northampton away. That was one of my better games this year. It's probably alongside Morecambe at home earlier in the season, and then worst game, probably Rotherham away when we got beat 4-1. Nothing went right that day, and especially for myself.
Okay. How did you get into basketball so much? Because everyone's noticed that you're a big fan of it.
It was just it was back. I'd always been into basketball at school, and then I went to America. I think it was 2002. Went to New York and just fell in love with it even more there. The coverage over here wasn't great. It's got a lot better over the years, but yeah, it was sort of, let's say when I was 17, 18, went over to New York and really got into it, and that was it then. I just sort of got gripped by it.
Yeah, obviously you've been a footballer since that time, but when did you stop playing? When did you last play basketball? Would it have been at school or?
Well, I'd always play sort of in my back garden. I've got my own basket and that, as probably people have guessed. But yeah, I used to have the odd game at school, and but yeah, I always in the summer I enjoy just going out in the garden, having a little shoot around and stuff like that. So, but yeah, any chance I get, I'll always have a little game.
Yeah. Okay. How high do you think you can play at this stage in your career, having been to the top?
Hopefully, I'd love to try and get back to the Premier League one day. I mean, after my season last year, being out injured and everything, and sort of trying to get myself back to a level, it's been a struggle at times. But this year, but I think you know, with my experience in that now and what I've learnt in the game and what I've experienced, I think I could still hopefully get back to Premier League level and compete.
Yeah. Okay. Would you say you're still as hungry now as when you started out, or even hungrier than you were when you started out in football?
I'll probably say even hungrier. I think just basically after having the year out last year, not being contracted to a club and sort of being an outsider, it really gives you a perspective on what the game's all about. I've always appreciated being in the position I am and being able to play football, but it was a real eye-opener for me last year what it'd be like without football in my life, you know, day to day, and you know, it's definitely made me more hungrier on a day-to-day basis, coming in training and games and just enjoying every minute. That's the one thing that I took from last year.
What do you plan on doing when your contract runs out in the summer?
Who knows? It is really one of them at the moment. I just focused on playing. You know, it was a case of signing for the rest of the season, and then obviously having to sit down and assessing it basically. You know, I think there's a few lads in the same position, and there'll be a lot of players all over the country that are in the same position. So football at the moment is sort of in a bit of a frenzy in that sense. But yeah, I was just going to see this season through, hopefully end it with promotion, and then go from there.
Okay. Next question is, do you see yourself at Cheltenham next season?
I'd never rule anything out in football now. I've been in the game long enough to know that anything can happen. Nothing's set in concrete unless, you know, until you put pen to paper on a deal or a contract, then you can never predict what's around the corner. So it'd be silly of me to put my finger on where I'll be. But like I say, I've enjoyed my time here this year, and it's, you know, been great to be in a squad and a group of lads, you know, as good as these guys, and as I say, I'm enjoying it, and like I want to end it the right way.
Yeah. Okay. I think I probably know the answer to this one. What's the biggest goal you've scored in your career?
Well, I say penalty-wise was obviously with Birmingham, but I don't really class that as a guy as obviously in the shootout. But yeah, probably my best goal was against Arsenal for West Brom. It ended up being the winning goal against such a great club like that. But I'd say importance, I scored a goal for Preston against Leicester away in the last minute. You know, we got a 1-0 win, and it was a stage where we were struggling, sort of relegation, and we kick-started and went on a great run then to avoid relegation. So yeah, there's a couple, them two definitely stand out.
Yeah, somebody actually asked about the Arsenal goal. So that's the best goal of your career?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'd look back on it, and it was sort of awkward the way the ball fell to me, but I sort of just managed to connect perfectly, and it's just one of them. It's a goal that when you've got the keeper at full stretch and it's just sort of get out of his grasp and it goes top corner. It's it's a special goal.
Yeah, just on the penalty. I mean, it was on telly the other night on late kick-off, and how old were you? 19? 18. Yeah. I mean, to have that pressure, what was that like?
People ask me all the time, and it was weird because I'd made my debut sort of in the January, and it was just a roller coaster ride for me. Obviously, being a supporter of Birmingham all my life, and then to sort of be all of a sudden in the first team playing with players that I'd sat on the terrace supporting, it was just surreal. And then to end it like that, I was still sort of in a whirlwind, and it was just a day that everything sort of fell into place for us and for me. And I never had any nerves. I always say to people, put me in that position again now, I'll probably be a lot more nervous, and probably wouldn't put it away as well as I did that day, to be honest. But it was just meant to be. It was one of them days that, as I say, everything fell into place.
Yeah. Okay. Do you give the Wolves fans at Cheltenham some stick for the position they're in at the moment? But did it backfire last weekend?
It did. Yeah. Obviously, the run that Birmingham have been on has been pleasing, and to be fair, Brownie, Lowy and Russ haven't really given me too much stick about the game on Saturday. I think they're still concerned about where they are in the league, but it's nice the banter we have and that, and it would be nice that, Wolves seem to be getting out of it a little bit now, and it'd be nice to see both clubs playing each other again next year.
Yeah. Do you remember seeing Mark Yates play for Birmingham?
I remember, I remember there was the odd game. I was trying to look back on it actually. My dad asked me about it and said, "Can you recall any games that I went to when I was younger?" And there's a few that I would have been at, and the gaffer had been playing. So I do remember his days at Birmingham.
Yeah. If you could play with any centre midfield player in the world, who would it be?
Present day. Off the top of my head, I mean, just purely because he's a player that I've loved all through his career. Paul Scholes. I thought Scholes has always been. He was the first player Steve Bruce told me when I was at Birmingham as a youngster to watch, and just the career he's had and the player that he is. Steven Gerrard. They're two off the top of my head, and then any of the Barcelona midfield, Iniesta, Xavi or Busquets. It would be amazing to play with.
Yeah. Okay. Who would you say is your toughest opponent that you've ever come up against?
I was lucky enough to say when I was at Birmingham, the first season in the Premier League, we played against Arsenal. Vieira and Petit, as a combination, them two were unbelievable. Vieira especially, but also Roy Keane. Just you knew as soon as he stepped on, he never seemed like he let his foot off the pedal. I remember coming out in the game at Old Trafford where we were losing 3-0 and the game was out of sight, and he was still, rampaging about in your face and never give you a second on the ball. So for that, I'd probably say Roy Keane probably shaves you.
Okay. Who's the best singer at Cheltenham from the away trips?
I mean, from this year, there hasn't been a great deal of talent, but from around the place, Marlon's got a decent voice. He does like to blast out a tune. Mo obviously thinks he's got a little bit, but from the new boys this year, I'd say Billy Jones sort of impressed me the way he went about it. So I'll go with Bill for this year, the new crop. But Marlon, I'd say, has probably got he feels like he's got a sweet voice anyway.
Yeah. On the subject of Marlon, how far do you think he can go in his career?
I'd say all the way, really. His talent, and for his age as well, I think he's got the ability. You can see that, and I think sometimes in this league at this level, it's difficult for him to do the things that he wants to do because it is a bit of hustle and bustle. But I say the higher you go, and probably the more quality is around, and say better pitches and stuff like that. I think he'll be a fantastic player for years to come. Okay.
Who do you think is the best technical player at Cheltenham at the moment?
I'd go probably Marlon. Maybe Sido. Sido's, I say, his trickery and his feet are very good. But Sammy Deering as well. Sammy's got a little bit, and he's technically very good. And so I'd say between the three of them. But if I had to pick, I'd probably go Marlon.
Right. Okay. Best ground played out in your career?
My favourite really was probably Anfield, just purely for the atmosphere and the history and everything, and just being there. And it's the one ground that I sort of took a step back and thought, this is it. This is what you dream of playing on.
Okay. Who do you think is the fastest player at Cheltenham?
Jermaine. The other week, I can't remember what fullback he played against, but that fullback was quick, and Jermaine absolutely blitzed him. So I'd say Jermaine. Jermaine without a doubt.
Toughest tackling player at the club?
Well, it's got to be Russell or Jace Taylor. I don't think you can see past either of them. Although Stevie Elliott could be in with a shout there. But yeah, I'd probably say Russell or Jace.
Okay. Has the standard of League Two surprised you? Because this is the first time we're playing it this season, isn't it? So what have you made of it, and has it surprised you how good it is?
Yeah, at times, definitely. I think there's a lot of very good players in this league now who have filtered down, but in certain games the quality has impressed me, and but then there's been other games where it's been a bit of a grind, and I think Monday was definitely that second half. But for me, I've always known there's decent quality in League Two, and this year, I've seen it in patches, definitely. Yeah,
and do you think Cheltenham Town will get automatic promotion this season?
Yeah, I still feel that we've got more than enough. It's in our hands still, and I think definitely 3 wins and a draw. But we'll be going all out to get the 4 wins, and we're good enough to do that. And we've got the players, I think, to step up and do that. So yeah, without a doubt.